welcome you to Trinity Revelation. My name is Dennis Wallman. I'm a lifelong resident of Beatrice, Nebraska. I'm a businessman here and run my own landscaping business. A few years ago, I got into taking pictures with everyday cameras around my home and community. I began frequently to see phenomena in my pictures that I didn't know how to explain. I barely know enough about my cameras. The viewer needs to know that I am also a man of Christian faith. I keep wondering if the unique things you're going to see in some of the countless pictures I've taken are some indication or evidence of the presence of countless spirits around us, or angels, or the spirits of departed friends. I'm increasingly convinced that's what I'm seeing in this picture, but I'm still wondering and skeptical. In the last 4 years, I would estimate that I've taken over 100,000 pictures in my home and in and around where I live in southern Nebraska. I keep trying to come up with an everyday explanation for what I'm seeing, and I'm open to listening to what you think would explain what are in these pictures. At the same time, as I've examined these pictures, I keep wondering what I'm encountering. It seems to be something that goes beyond a rational explanation. I want people to see and think about what I've seen. On this website, I want to share with you many of the more dramatic and hard to explain images. I'll try to develop this story from its beginning, where images seem to gravitate in my home to some of the mementos of my Christian faith and pictures of friends and loved ones of mine who have died. But I'll want to share many more pictures that I've taken in all sorts of conditions and circumstances. I'll try to give a brief awareness of the setting so we can think together about this. Most of us see what we want to see. Perhaps you'll see nothing more than interesting and beautiful refractions of light. Maybe that's all they are. I invite you to pause and consider and wonder. Today I want to introduce my friend and pastor, Pastor Reek.
I've been a pastor for Dennis congregation here in Beatrice during the course of this last year, and had the chance to meet Dennis, and he pulled me aside and said, I want to show you what I'm finding on my pictures. And I spent some time with him looking at them, and Dennis explained to me, Pastor, I don't know anything other than just how to turn the camera and shoot it, and yet I keep seeing this. And he and I talked about this. Is there some rational explanation for what Dennis sees in his pictures? Over a course of a number of meetings in the last year, Dennis showed me a whole series of pictures that have been shot by him in the last several years here in the entire area. I honestly don't have some rational explanation for it. He and I have said, well, is this some kind of refraction of dust or something like that, because neither one of us knows enough about either the physics or photography. I can surely attest to you that Dennis has not doctored the photographs that you're going to be seeing, so it's not some kind of Photoshop sort of thing. But there's, over all the hundreds and hundreds of pictures that Dennis has taken and has shown me, there's some commonalities that develop, and surely some puzzling and challenging matters. Is it possible for us to be encountered by God in the everyday? As a pastor, I would surely say he speaks to us through his word and through his sacraments and so forth. But in terms of evidence for our eyes and so forth, generally pastors don't talk about that kind of thing, although some Christians tend to want to do that. And yet there is lurking this whole matter of that which is invisible. Does the Lord, in fact, make it visible from time to time in order to challenge us? Is this some kind of experience that Dennis has been challenged to share with people to give them an opportunity to stop and think that maybe there's more to this than what our scientific world will let us be comfortable with. Science is a good thing. It gives us wonderful, wonderful explanations. And yet science also automatically says, well, if we can't see it, then it doesn't exist. And yet here Dennis has a whole series of pictures that seem to say, we can't explain what this is. What might be going on in the background? And so it's in that context that he and I want to share with you this process that he's put together to share it. Dennis, these are going to be a series of pictures that you've taken here at your home and in other places, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Now, the spirits that listen, these are people that have asked their loved ones to come to them. Now, this first person, he lost his wife 2 years ago at this time, and I asked him to call his wife to him, and he did. And the next picture I took was a picture of her off to the side of his face.
And that's what Dennis is interpreting, because there you see that sort of shadow of light, that little round shadow of light that appears only in these pictures that Dennis has taken. And he has become convinced that at least this particular phenomenon is the spirit of a loved person who's there with this widowed friend of ours. And so that's the kind of phenomena we're going to be seeing in Dennis' pictures again and again and again. This was a friend of yours, wasn't it, or a relative?
She was a classmate of mine in high school, and she had lost her 14-year-old daughter a few years before I re-met her. And she was telling me about how she missed her daughter, and I mean, it really showed it on her. And I told her that I could take pictures of spirits. So we met, and this is the last picture I took. She asked her daughter to come to her, and I took this picture, and to me that's evidence that these spirits are listening to us. They can move, they can see. They're the life after death.
So it's like they're here in our own, just invisible to us, and yet, as you're going to see in these hundreds of pictures that Dennis has taken, you keep seeing experiences like you see there, that globe, if you will, or circle of light on the leg of this lady. Now this, Dennis, is in your home, and this is a familiar setting. As Dennis and I have visited here quite a number of times as he's shown me these. And you can see some religious mementos important to Dennis' experience and his wife, Peg, but the absolute unique globe that's there hovering. And I can absolutely assure you, as you watch this, that's not there except on this photography. You see that color often, Dennis?
Not too often. They're usually white. The thing about this particular picture is that when you were here visiting one time, I had taken this picture while you were here in this room with me. And I took this picture and this appeared. And 3 minutes passed, and I asked the spirit to go to Jesus. And this is what happened, was this picture here. Now this is the only picture that I have of a face in a spirit. And when my grandson, he was 8 years old at the time, had seen this picture, and the first thing he asked who that was, Grandpa. He said, "Who's that man?" So for him, it was clearly easy for him to see
Yeah, the innocence
this
of a
is.
child who's not going to dismiss it or try to explain it in a different way.
Yes. And to me, that looks like a face
Surely does to me too.
of a man.
And I have to say, I can't dismiss any of this, Dennis.
Well, I think that God is showing us what there is to the other side.
Now, this is a very different kind of category, and I know I've seen so many pictures you've shown me are a lot like this, a much brighter sort of light. And you've described this more as a halo, and would you call this one a spirit or more of an angelic experience?
Well, the top one, I believe, is angelic. The bottom one is someone's spirit.
Okay.
And all through these collection of pictures, you're going to see quite a difference between the angels and the spirits.
One of the things, too, you've mentioned a number of times is that sort of blue edge on then what you're calling an angelic presence. And you have said a number of times that they seem to be oriented in the same way all the time, consistently.
Yes, and what my belief and what I've come up with as a theory is that the blue side is cool and the orange side is warmth, you know. And it's kind of like looking at the sun, at the moon at night. You don't see the sun, but you can see what the sun is doing to the moon at night. It's reflecting off of it. And if you look at the moon at night, the side where the sun is shining against the moon, it will have that yellow glow.
Yeah, much brighter.
And then the other side will have kind of the blues and the greens on the moon. Well, that's what's happening here with these pictures. And I believe that the side that is orange, on that side is where Jesus Christ is, because he is the light of heaven. He is the Son of heaven. And I believe he's so bright that those angels know where he is, and that brightness of Jesus is coming off of him and reflecting on the angels.
Well, even the Savior said in one verse in the Gospels about the angels of little ones, they always behold the Father's face. And so it's almost like they're turned that way.
Yes.
I think the folks who look at these pictures will see the same sort of thing.
This is another picture of the same thing, but you can see the cool side of the angel and the warm side of the angel.
Mm-hmm.
And the brightness of the angel, the solidness of the angel. And the spirits are with the angels.